Yeg.
I would say that I only take one yeg bomb a year, but sometimes when we're playing shows, I look down and I got one in my hand, so
You're like, oh.
all that happens.
That'll happen.
I think it was the patio show last year. It was like right after Malort first came to town. Like Webby hollered out for like a Malort shot, like while he was on stage, or it might have been at Part Wolf. But I was like, Jesus Christ, bad.
Woof.
Hell yeah.
But
Oh man.
now that y'all are here, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the episode. I really appreciate it. Like I told these dudes, the new EP sounds super sick, and I'm stoked to kind of chat about it.
Hell yeah, thanks, dude.
As you know from checking out episodes, we'll talk about everything Linus that you guys got going on. Obviously, the 2 singles, kind of hint at the new EP, and then we'll just have a fun time, talk about some stories from you guys' time music. Nothing too serious. Just have some beers and have a good time.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Fuck yeah.
Let's fucking go.
For every episode, we usually do start with a fresh crack. I don't know if you guys want to grab a.
That won't be a problem.
Might as well.
As you heard in the ending songs for our last 2 EPs, we like a good crack.
We got a ham crack in.
Get a ham crack.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have one in the new EP.
Really?
I love that you tossed that onto that. I was not expecting it at all.
That was my biggest contribution to the EP.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This is another fun episode. Got another band in the house in the new spot. Second band to be featured in the new house. So, hell yeah.
Cool.
And we can see all of your faces because you guys aren't Count Spookily and friends, which is much love to those guys.
I didn't see that.
But I'm sitting down with the band Linus from Minneapolis. For people that aren't aware, you guys are a punk band from here in the Twin Cities. You guys got some cool things going on. I'm stoked to talk about it. Before we get too far, can you kind of go around and say who you are and what you do in Linus?
Sure. I'm Jeff. I play bass and say regrettable things on stage.
And sing a little bit.
Yeah, sing a little bit too.
I'm Lewis. I am the lead singer and guitarist, and say regrettable things on stage.
I am Kyle. I try to play guitar. I crack the hams in the latest EP.
Hell
That's
yeah.
my biggest contribution again. And I don't have a mic on stage, but I definitely say a lot of regrettable things. no one can hear it. So.
My name's Kaylyn. I play the drums and do backing vocals, and I regret nothing.
And then
Damn right.
There's always got to be one that doesn't regret it.
Yeah, exactly.
But for people that aren't aware, you guys formed in like 2015. First EP came out 2016. I think it was called. I know it was called. I wrote it down. But 3 songs by a band named Linus.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, for a lot of bands in the local scene, you guys have been around quite a long time. I know back in my local scene, back from Iowa, like doing stuff in 2015 to now, like that's like a heroic feature to do that. So props for still pulling through, doing a lot of things. Obviously, pandemic years, we don't really count those as as things. But speaking of pandemic, you guys did put out your COVID album in 2022 called Hell Yep, which if anyone hasn't checked it out, please go do so. It's a fun little 4-song ripper. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that before we kind of dive into the new stuff. But I think in one of the posts I saw, even though it's deemed like a COVID album, it's not fully a COVID album because the concept was obviously way before COVID, if I'm right.
Yeah, like pre-COVID, before Kaylyn had even entered the picture, some of those songs were already in the works. And we wrote a ton of songs like 2018, 2019, and then when COVID happened, right before COVID, our drummer quit, and we tried a new drummer that did not work out. And then COVID happened, and then when Kaylyn came into the picture after COVID times, we had all these songs ready to go, and then we kept writing new songs too. So really, that EP is kind of like the top 4 songs from like those like 3 or 4 years that we had been writing.
Okay.
But and then like, trying to remember, I was thinking about it. I think it was either complicated or stuck inside that we actually hadn't played together before recording it.
Yeah.
Like the other 3 we kind of played together, demoed
was
out.
stuck inside it. I think. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
that came together like right before we started recording it.
Well, it felt like a lot of those songs came out of like the old songs we had written.
Mm.
Like that was like kind of what got us to those songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wrote all these songs. We had these old songs from 2019, 2018, and we were practicing those, and then we were writing new stuff after we were getting into the groove of those things. So it kind of all evolved from there, from the COVID blur.
Do you guys feel like there was like a shift in Linus itself at that same point where, you know, Kaylyn comes in and then you work on these 4 songs and get these towards the EP as like a whole?
Yeah, I do. I think it's weird to say that we started in 2015 because it feels like we are a totally new band as of like 2021. So it's weird to think about that because in 2015 when we started, it was our old drummer Stefan, and we all went to Maple Grove Senior High together. Although Kyle's a couple years younger than me. So when Stefan quit and then COVID happened, we didn't know what we were going to do. I think we were technically still a band, but we didn't do anything. And then Kaylyn, who also went to Maple Grove Senior High.
I was literally Stefan's age. We were in classes together.
Yeah.
Stefan and I were friends. I mean,
So we were.
friends. Yeah, no, our friends.
Yeah, I posted on Facebook like looking for a drummer, thinking nothing would happen. Then Kaylyn was like, "Hey, I'm trying to join a band right now." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then Kaylyn shows up and he knew all the songs like perfectly right away.
Better than we did.
And then we were able to like really like hit the ground running. I felt like, and it felt like starting a brand new band. Then, so it is kind of like 2 separate bands in my mind, like post-COVID Linus and pre-COVID.
I feel like the first 3 songs, or you know, the stuff that was coming out at the beginning, it was a lot more kind of playful and like kind of novelty stuff. And I'm not saying that we got totally serious, but we definitely have a little more meaning behind some of the new songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, COVID also, I mean, this is true for like almost every band and songwriter, but COVID, a lot of people had time to kind of hone their craft. Like that's when I learned how to use Logic and like did a lot of demoing by myself. So I feel like it kind of pushed our songwriting forward quite a bit too, just having those like lockdown times to work on stuff.
That was kind of the one almost like silver lining of COVID is just everyone went into it like being like decent musicians, and then they came out of it being like way more talented than they were. And it was just amazing to see the bands that like powered through, especially like with you guys, you know, lost the drummer, we're on that like teeter of like, do we end it now or what's going to happen? Where a lot of bands didn't come back from that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see how many didn't, you know, make it through. So anyone that did make it through and like took that time to use it wisely, I commend like right off the bat.
Funny enough too, I think weirdly, if it hadn't been for COVID, I hadn't been playing drums for like 5 years, and then because COVID and I was at home, I had free time and money, and I really missed playing the drums, so I had time to go back to it. I started playing the drums again in 2020. I bought an electric drum kit, so I think like had that not happened, I also probably wouldn't have picked up the drums again and went to join the band.
Yeah, when Kaylyn showed up, he had like his dad's drum set.
Yeah, my old drums. My dad had a set from like the
Damn.
late 80s, early 90s, and that's the set I grew up playing on. I loved it. And you know, I'm the only one in the family's been using it, so I just towed it around with me. But it's a big, boomy, You know, both the toms on the rack are just fucking huge. Like, just an absurd sound. We were like blowing off the roof of Jeff's house when we had that rehearsal that day.
We used to have this tiny practice space too, and it was like the most insane shit. Like those toms, like whoa, the whole room would like shake.
It was a small space with super high ceilings.
Yeah.
And everything
No
just
dampening.
bounced off basically infinitely when we practiced.
The metalheads be like,
so
hey, can you
loud.
guys turn it down?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I didn't wear earplugs then.
I don't know. I don't know how you did that. That's when I started going, I fucking need earplugs.
Yeah, that's when I was said I need nice ones.
Yeah.
It was insane.
God, it's so loud there.
Now, was one of the other like good factors about Kaylyn was that he also went to Maple Grove Senior High.
It did help. Well,
I mean, we knew each other.
It's not the
Yeah.
requirement though.
What's
to, like,
funny
be
is
in.
Kyle and I played in a band together
Yeah.
when he was in high school, and I mean, I guess technically when I was in high school my senior year, we were in a band called A Week Without John, Jon. That was it was like the group of my friends that I grew up playing with all the time, and we were all really good friends. We played with all the various bands that Lewis and Jeff had. Like we played with the Epileptic Squirrels. We played with Moving to Pluto, and then when A Week Without John broke up, we actually shared a bassist. And when that broke up, I hadn't seen Lewis in a few years, except for when I'd randomly do a late night run to Taco Bell. See you working there.
Hell yeah.
I hadn't seen Kyle though in fucking years. I
Yeah.
hadn't seen him since the band broke up, and then
Yeah.
saw at the first rehearsal.
Yeah, I remember when you responded to that posting that we had about looking for a drummer, and you were like, "Wait, really?" And I looked and turned to Kat, my girlfriend, who has been a fan of Galen's for a long time because of
Let's not
Say
even
less.
say. Let's
Say
just
less.
see. People be like, "What?"
she's been a long time admirer of Galen's.
That's so funny.
As soon as that popped up, she was like, "No way, no way!" And I was like, "Hey, I couldn't plan this better than myself."
Seriously.
It was
so funny.
really excellent. Like,
It's
plus
so
when we all got together and jammed for the first time, we were just like shooting the shit
Yeah.
because we all knew each other.
Yeah.
Like, we tried out one drummer right before COVID happened, and he just did not have the chops. And he was a little bit older than us too, so it was just kind of awkward. And then we went through COVID, and then when Kaylyn came in, it was like we were reinvigorated.
Yeah.
Like, I really do not think Linus would exist if Kaylyn hadn't stepped in. I think I would have probably moved on, because it's really hard to find drummers, let alone really good ones. So.
Thanks, fellas. And you settled for me. I appreciate that.
I mean, when you see that hair going on stage,
You can also thank COVID for this. This is just
Slow.
laziness mixed with, why not?
yeah, COVID
whole
was really a
journey.
blessing, I guess, for
True,
us.
man, me too.
Well, lesson there for everyone. Anyone younger getting into music, play the drums.
Yes.
It'll help
Yes.
out. You'll probably end up in like
Sounds
10 different bands.
Yes.
Uh,
Jeez, it's
yeah.
crazy.
I think back home it was like the same way. Like there was a few different drummers that were in like at least 3 to 4 different bands, and then there was also a point where I think finding a bass player was also difficult
Oh, I
for a little
believe that.
while. But
Totally.
it's kind of funny how it's the same shit in every scene where
Mhm.
they don't. There's never enough of just one instrumentalist.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, made it through the pandemic, released Hell Yep, and now, I mean, back in October, you guys released your latest single, called On the Line. This comes out in November, so we got to.
Yeah. As you said, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Future.
I'm slipping.
Future.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking, wait.
Man, that new episode of
I even told him, I even said that to myself before we sat down, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, what?
But that's the sense, yeah, because Spooky Season came out before the last EP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also,
So funny.
for anyone that hasn't checked that out, also go listen to that. There is a music video for it on YouTube. We'll get to links later in the episode. There's also a really
Oh my god.
there's also a really fun video of you guys going to that Taco Bell.
Oh, the Defy Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
That was dope.
I have yet to go to that.
That was almost the fucking it up music video, basically.
Oh my god.
We're pressure testing the elevator there to see how much Taco Bell I can
For
actually
real,
go.
because the four of us, we got our orders in, and then the person was like, "We're gonna have to send it down in 2 loads." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Fucking gall.
Widen the tubes.
It was awesome.
That's so much fun. We should go back there.
It was
I miss
way out of the way though. I thought it'd be close by,
Mm-mm.
and oh my gosh, driving there was like a nightmare.
They should
I don't know why they
sponsor
put it there.
Pretty
That makes
close
no
to
sense.
my place.
us. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought, but then we picked up Jeff, and then it was like 15 more minutes. to get there.
Jeez.
It was so weird. It's like this random freeway exit, at least from my view, because I don't know the area, but it's like a random freeway exit, and here's this giant, like, bank
Two-story.
Taco Bell. It was so weird.
That was wild.
I completely forgot that thing was even there until I watched your guys' video about it today.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
I was like, oh yeah, that thing does still exist, and
Yep.
it's there. But yeah, everyone go check out Spooky Season. But getting back to the latest single, On the Line, which this. So when I first saw the song title, this is just me being dumb and watching. Have you guys seen the Owen Wilson Vince Vaughn movie, The Internship?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a scene in there where Vince, like, they're obviously older dudes hanging out with, like, these young people, but Vince Vaughn does this thing where instead of saying, like, online, he just keeps saying on the line. And every time I look at the song title, that's all I can imagine is just Vince Vaughn saying
Oh
that.
boy, I'm gonna have to watch that. Make sure I didn't accidentally
There
cancel
we go.
myself.
It's-
so good.
It's a good movie. It's like one of my comfort movies.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's good. It's just a really funny scene. But it's also a really sick single to come out with for this year. For people that might not have checked it out, I know technically came out like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Kind of tell us a little bit about what On the Line is and is about.
Yeah, I think so. We made Hell Yep, and that was kind of our COVID album. In the sense that like a lot of the themes, I think lyrically were kind of like we have a song called Stuck Inside, for example. But this was kind of like fallout from COVID album. I think some of the songs, at least, I found myself writing a lot about people in my life who succumbed to like the Alex Jones, like anti-vaxxer type of side of social media during COVID, and kind of reeling and grappling with those relationships after the pandemic. So that's what that song and a couple of the other songs on the new EP are about. But the music part of it, I think, is just kind of a fun, like upbeat kind of thing, which tends to happen a lot. We mostly write just fun, really like catchy kind of music, but then the lyrical themes go in a different direction. So, yeah.
It might be like worth the people knowing too that like quite honestly it's like Lewis will send us a demo of a song that sounds like we don't even need to play on it. It's like a fully formed song. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like he'll generally send songs that are like, 50 to 85% complete, and then we'll all learn the parts and kind of figure out what our own take on the parts are going to be. Maybe fuss with some things here and there. Then we'll get together, we'll practice, we'll play around. Usually I feel like generally speaking, there's a rough idea for a form from your demos, but sometimes there's like we need something after the second chorus. We need a bridge. We need an outro. What do we do here? Oh, let's add this crazy shit here. So like I feel like On the Line was one of the ones that was actually pretty finished for the most part, demo wise.
Well, I think a lot of I am like the only songwriter in the band. I think I can say that.
That's true.
But
I'll allow it.
That one song though, I did say that we should end it on A.
Did.
that's
that?
right.
With Blender.
That was actually
With Blender.
Yeah.
That we don't want to give too much away. But the song blender does end with an A.
Well, I like to say, like, I demo the whole tracks out in Logic, program all the drums and everything, but usually it's very, like, programmatic and it's very, like, straightforward. But then once we actually get together and jam on it, like, that's where, like, it really comes to life because you fill in those little gaps. You come up with those little guitar riffs or the little fills, or just people have ideas about the arrangement. And that's where things are really, it makes them extra special. Like I'll do these demos, but yeah, they're very like robotic. I think it's just like intro, verse, chorus, you know, whatever, with the same program drums looping. But that song, I think, like you were saying, Kaylyn, it was like more finished because I was like, had this really specific drum part in mind. And it's so funny because I'll program these drum parts and then Kaylyn will listen to them and then I'll come to practice and Kaylyn will have them like perfectly down, like to the like exact thing, and I can like see the like MIDI in my head. Kaylyn's like doing it.
Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this drum part?
Yeah, because that one I was like, the chorus, I had such a hard time with the drums on that chorus of that song.
I get why.
It's got a little swing to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I came up with this crazy shit. Like the drum part in that chorus is crazy, and then Kaylyn was like immediately like all over the drum. He could do it. So.
Alright, do it 30 times in a row so we can record it.
But even then, like I'll program insane stuff, and then Kaylyn has to like put his own spin on it, and that's what kind of makes the songs feel more real and special, I think.
Just me though. Kyle and Jeff.
Well, specifically talking about drums.
Had there been any drum parts that Lewis sent over to you that you're like, no, this actually isn't physically possible?
Not on this, not for Linus yet, but we just did, at the time we're recording this, Lewis is like producing, recording Portside Dive, new EP. I feel like we can probably share that. That's been public information, but I just recorded drums on that, and there's one song where I was like, I'm not going to be able to figure out this part.
A lot of drummers, like specifically metal drummers, they'll refer to it as three-handed drumming because a lot of those recordings have programmed drums.
Yes.
Like just in the final product. And they'll do a lot of like the cymbals going, but then the person's also like filling
stuff
in.
on the drum.
So there was a little bit of that. So I won't lie.
I may have taken a lot of creative liberties on one song. I was like, I'm going to do this instead. It worked out though. Yeah.
And we just shot a music video for On the Line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is looking pretty sick.
Dude, Lewis edited
After like 24 hours?
Dude,
Wow.
yeah. We like shot it Wednesday night, then Thursday morning.
Amazing.
Lewis sent us like a full cut.
Yeah.
We're like,
Wow.
Dude.
I mean,
amazing.
yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah, so we got that. That should be, or that is out now.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah. And
That'll be our first true music video.
5 million views on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
As of this airing.
6 billion?
Yeah, and I know that it's been out and like we've all seen it multiple times and everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But for like someone that might not have tuned in to watch it yet,
Yeah.
like tell me a little bit about. Well, tell them a little bit about what's, because I've watched it millions of times.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think we've wanted to do a music video for a while. At least I have, and it's always been kind of daunting. But Galen continues to just be a blessing in our lives because he's like, oh, I got cameras. Like, he did all of our photos for our recent photos that we've posted online.
Those came out very sick, by the way.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
those.
I have a few more I'm editing still. I'm slow.
Yeah. So Galen does all our graphic design, all of our photos, and then when we want to do a music video, he's like, "Oh, I'll just bring like some cameras I have just lying around." Damn. Okay, so we got kind of a hookup there, but we just did this one all DIY in our practice space, and then my buddy Mark also, we did some skateboarding stuff with him. That's just for fun, and the music video is very, very silly. Which I think is just kind of how we roll, even though the song is a bit more serious, I suppose, but it's just a fun video.
Shout out to Biggie.
Does it correlate at all with the video, or is it with the song, or is it just more like, here's the song and like kind of in the background we kind of just have a fun time?
Yeah, it's just for fun. We didn't script anything out like in alignment with the song, I wouldn't say.
That's fair. I've also like come to enjoy that style of music video too, because like, yes, I love the song, but it's also cool where like I'm watching just you guys having fun at the same time. When I go to listen to the song, I can like envision a music video, because like sometimes you'll listen to a song over and over, get a feeling with like what a video could be, and then a band releases a music video and you're like, that's not what it should have been.
Oh, man.
Like they fucked that
Yeah.
up.
I
Totally.
think that our brand a lot is just like really fun music. So I think the music video kind of represents that pretty well. And it's also just our first time entering that realm. So maybe we will do some cool scripted stuff for another time, but this was just kind of DIY for fun. Like, everyone go to the practice space and we're just going to shoot some random stuff.
Totally. Makes me think of that, like, there's that Sum 41 music video from, like, probably 2002 or 2003. I think it's for the Hell song, even. Does This Look Infected? And it's just them playing with action figures. It has nothing to do with the song at all. But it's amazing. It's such a good music video, because it's, like, I want to watch it, because the song kicks ass, the
And
video
it kind of,
kicks ass, you know?
I don't know, it kind of feels like the music video is dying again.
Yeah.
Especially with TikTok and stuff. Every single music video that I watch nowadays is exactly the same, and we did the exact same thing, where it's just like a band like in a setting, like playing, and then like there's a little storyline cut in throughout. So you know, just
I
for
would
fun.
say it gives off some '90s vibes for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
The cuts, the transitions. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that style, and I think that our music is also very influenced by kind of '90s alternative, like Weezer is probably one of our top influences, and obviously '90s pop punk music. So that's a good vibe to give off, I think.
Definitely.
The one thing I really like about you guys too is, and you really see it a lot in Hell Yep, and I mean everything else you guys are doing, but I don't know if it was just because like that EP was more DIY done, because you guys did that all kind of in-house, but you guys are, yes, classified as like a pop punk band, but you guys are like on that, like on the spectrum of pop punk where it's more punk leaning than pop punk, if that makes sense. Rather than like being super poppy and like overdone on that side of the pop punk spectrum. But it's just one thing I enjoy about you guys, where you guys do have that poppiness throughout, but it's still like you can feel like the punkness roots in there, and which not a lot of bands are doing. I feel like if they are, it's hit or miss. But I really like how you guys sound and come across with everything you guys are doing.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely. That's like the first time I've heard that, because I think a lot of people would say we're very poppy. It's kind of hard in this scene
Compared to some of the bands that we play with.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
We end up-
We
end up
we play a lot of with a lot of bands that I would almost consider just more straight punk, or don't have that pop element to them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a really big thriving punk scene in the Twin Cities, and it's hard for us to fit in, I think, sometimes. Like, we're very poppy, so it's hard for us to fit in with the more hardcore bands, or the more like kind of gutter punk kind of bands. And then we're also too punky to hang out with a lot of the more poppy bands.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves in an interesting spot. I mean, I think that we have a good community, and there's a lot of bands that we play with all the time because they're just awesome. And I think that it's not uncommon to go to local shows and there's just a very eclectic lineup.
Truly.
So
Amen.
I'm not too concerned about, but sometimes it's like there's not many bands that are kind of doing this exact thing in the Twin Cities, and now the Zoomer bands are coming up, and they're all like, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, we're We're getting worked out of the system here.
It's all we almost fit in lineups better with like ska bands, even though we don't have any. You know what I mean?
Just because it's like the '90s,
Yeah,
early 2000s.
There's just something about the aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know.
That reminds me of the quote from Abe Simpson. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it is.
And now it is scary and I guess something like that.
Yeah.
Classic. Kyle, you were starting to say something when we were talking about that. Do you have a thought?
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, like compared to like the scene that we end up like playing shows with, we're like comparatively super pop. Compared like when you were saying like we on the spectrum lean more punky, but just like comparatively to what we end up playing with, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny to think of like some of the bands we play with, and then someone being like, "Oh, you're more punky than pop." I'm like, did you just see
Thrash
did you just see like Ass Blaster play?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is kind of funny to play these shows, and there's just like really like grimy punk bands playing, and then we go up there and we're like, like, oh boy. But I've always like had a very I've been very inclined to write very poppy, catchy stuff with big hooks, because that's just what I've always enjoyed writing, and I really like Fountains of Wayne and old school Weezer, which is like big hooks, and especially like the '90s and early 2000s pop punk was very, very like, here's the big hook in the middle of the song. So that's not going to change, but it does put us in a weird situation with some other bands that we play with.
Yeah, don't change that, because I probably listened to everything you guys sent me, at least, and I could actually check this because I saw the counts before and after I listened to everything, but probably at least like 6 different times today.
Oh, nice.
And like by the third listen, I was already like finding those choruses and singing along, because it's just so fucking catchy and just so groovy, where I was sitting there like working on my work and just singing along to it, and I was like, this fucking rips. But yeah, so On the Line came out on the 20th of October. Now we're in November. We have a new single coming out called Blender, which is, I feel like a great follow-up to On the Line. If you look at like lyrically, I feel like they're in like the same vein, where it's kind of like dealing with a person in your life where you kind of gotta, either they gotta figure out their shit and get to it, where kind of On the Line's like, do we like kind of cut it off and keep going? But I feel like Blender's a great follow-up and great single to kind of bring that out with, and I hope everyone enjoys it as much as I've had listening to that. Was there a reason behind releasing Blender as the second single?
I think we had a hard time picking a single.
Yeah, it's been hard.
Like, we kind of, at least this is my perspective, the new EP is like banger, 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 banger. Like, we tried to just do like really catchy, like, you know what I'm saying? Poppy songs. We didn't do like, we have songs in our arsenal that are like slower, more like emo. And it's like this one, we're just like, no, we're just gonna put all the like the fast poppy songs.
Yeah, totally.
At least that's my perspective.
I agree.
So deciding on what to do a single, like last EP, Effing It Up was very obvious to us.
Yeah.
That was the single, but this time we were like, I don't know. So we have a few on there that we didn't know what to lead with, but Blender, I felt like I wanted to do mostly because of Brandon's feature on it. I just thought it was really fun. And I think we kind of kicked that one around as potentially a lead single too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting because Lewis was asking like what we think the song order should be, and I'm actually like terribly not responsive to our group chat. Like I'll check in every couple days and kind of get the gist of it, and then I'll respond to just a little bit here and there. But I guess Kaylyn and I had like complete opposite ideas on like the track order for this EP.
And I didn't know what to do, and I was like, what the hell? I have 2 different...
Yeah, they were like completely opposite, which I love. Like, I'm like, cool. I love that we have different ideas about it.
I think that kind of speaks to what Lewis is saying too about how there's a lot of bangers on this one, in our opinion.
Truly. Yeah, sequencing this album's
And I
EP is
also-
hard.
It's also like, who cares about sequencing? Like,
Right.
at the end
These
of the
days now.
day, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever
Um,
gets the most plays is gonna go to the top, and
true.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, damn.
I'm so interested to see. I mean, this is maybe jumping away from Blender, but without saying much about the EP, like I'm curious, like, is there gonna be a sleeper one? Like for us on Hell Yep, we've had so many people reach out or come talk to us about Complicated, the fourth song on the EP, which is a song Lewis wrote for his sweetie, as he says, his now fiance, and it's like, it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing. Like, we've had a few people who've been like, man, that song, like, I really have connected with that song. I really feel it. There's one dude who's like, seriously, when you guys get 3/4 of the song and you come back with that bridge before the last chorus, like, I like tear up when I listen to it. It's like, holy shit, that's crazy. And I'm curious if there's going to be any of those on this EP where we're like, yeah, we feel really good about that song, but I bet that's not the song people are going to hold on to. And someone's going to be like, dude, that fucking song?
Yeah, it's really reassuring to hear that you listened to it multiple times and liked it, because it's such a mystery to me, like how this one's gonna play out, because I felt like the last one, everyone loved effing it up as soon as we put it out.
Yeah.
And it kind of took off in some fashion, but this one I'm like, I have no idea. It's like very mysterious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one side piece. I know you guys came up with your own lineups. You should possibly submit, like, release, like, the Kaylyn version.
Oh, man.
Okay.
See, people
Just,
been-
yeah,
God,
see
damn.
which way people like to listen to it.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because I think, I mean, obviously this is a different genre, but Kendrick Lamar's Damn, I think that one, he released it in a certain order, but it's also in an order where you can turn it around and listen to it in reverse order,
Oh, cool.
and it still, like, does, like, a whole different storyline.
Wow. You know what's funny is I think that's almost exactly what Jeff and I accidentally did.
Yeah.
It's like, it was literally like
they're
almost reversal.
pretty
of one
much
another.
mirror orders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just so funny.
Yeah, I think there's a little something on there for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
there's something for the Weezer fans, and there's something for the Linus fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, the songs we've been playing live, I feel like they've been getting a good reception,
Yeah, definitely.
and they've been really fun to play. And there's a few we haven't still, and just don't know. I just don't know.
It's kind of funny because one of the ones we haven't played live yet is called "You're Not Cool," and I fucking love that
Yeah.
song. Like, I'm
Yeah,
actually
same.
so pumped for people to hear that song, because I think the hook on that is like one of the strongest hooks Lewis has ever written. I think it's so good. It was one of those songs where, like, you know, sometimes I show my wife the demos a little bit, like, man, this song, you know, it's dope. I showed her that for effing it up, and she loved it. And then for You're Not Cool, one day I was like, you gotta hear this. Lewis just sent us this demo. It's
Oh,
fucking
God.
awesome. And then she like immediately, like, when everything kicked in, she was like, oh, like, she's going hard on it. She loved it. And so I was like, yes, this is gonna rule. Like, I don't know, but I'm also not sure, like, are people gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's a song, you know?
One thing
you
that I
never
will
know.
say about doing it all DIY that is actually really interesting is, like, you start to really hate your songs. Like, when you play them all the time and then you go into the studio and you just, like, bang them out, it's, like, really exciting when you get to hear them. But when you're doing it all yourself, it's like, I cannot listen to this anymore. And then you really lose focus and you really become your own worst critic. At least for me, like, oh my gosh, it's, like, exhausting. But I just recently took, like, a 3-week break from our songs because I was like, I cannot listen to these anymore.
Yeah.
They are done. And then when we were doing it on the line, I was like, okay, I think this one actually bangs. I think we're good. I think we're good. But it's really hard. You get lost in the
Totally.
everything. I'm like, oh, that snare drum hit on the second verse. Oh my god, we gotta fix
That's
that.
so funny.
One of the first times we played that one live was at the Underground Music Cafe, and as soon as we finished playing that, I think we did Blender first, and then we did On the Line. And as soon as we finished playing that, somebody in the crowd goes, "What's the name of that song?" Like, trying to see if you can look it up and find it online right now. And
Hell yeah.
so that, to me, is a good indicator that it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Did we say too? You said that talking about Blender. You just said like, well, we want to put it out because Brandon's on it. Should we specify who that is for
Yeah.
people listening right now?
Yeah. Blender, which is coming out later in November this month, features Brandon from Birdhole, who I've had the pleasure of playing with a lot because I filled in on bass for them for a long time. But I was filling in on bass, and then we were recording the CP, and I was like, oh, we gotta get Brandon in here because he's an awesome singer.
Kills it too.
Yeah, he just
He's
showed up.
fucking awesome.
He just showed up to my apartment and like banged that out in like 5 minutes, and then went on his way.
Lewis didn't tell us that too.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a little
kept us a
surprise.
secret for us.
I was
Take
just
a
like,
listen.
you want to be on, like, just come over. And he's like, okay. And he came in, like, with his Trader Joe's, like, uniform still on. Just banged it out and then left.
Good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Hell yeah. Do you have like, I mean, you've been listening to it, so you know the singles.
Yeah.
Or the other 4 songs. Is there any like one that you're like
Yeah.
interested by, or?
I think. I mean, it's tough now. Like looking at it all, obviously, like online because we've listened to it millions of times. It's been out for a few weeks, but I think Exploded is also a top track for me. Yeah, I think Exploded or Blender is probably like my top, and then like it's a hard tie for like even third of like Wavelength or On the Line, but I mean like they're all just super good rippers. That like I'm sure everyone else is gonna enjoy them as much as I have. Like there wasn't one that it's always good when there's not like I've listened to this one enough. I want to skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My skipper.
So there was no skipper on this one.
All right.
So
Hell yeah.
No skips. No
Yes.
skips.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we've been gigging so much lately, and trying to get this thing out. It's just kind of been a whirlwind of like these 6 songs and doing 6. We did 4 last time and doing 6. It was just kind of a lot. So it's really hard like to figure out what to put out and what people are gonna like. But I'm really excited. I think people are gonna like it.
And we had like, originally there was a plan to put out these 6, and then we have like, what was it, another 4 to 6?
Sad boy.
We
Yeah.
have a lot. I mean, we've written so like I was
Almost.
saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like all the COVID songs are still there.
Yeah.
Um,
3 of them we've like played live a lot.
Oh yeah.
Too. We have one that's fully recorded.
Yeah. It's just. I mean,
Way to put it
that's
out.
the blessing of the DIY and the curse. Is
Yeah.
that you can record whenever you want, however much you want, but then it's like, oh, you know, when do we put this out? Do we put it out?
Mm-hmm.
When you go into the studio, it's like, here's my songs, and they're done. And that's it.
Right.
One day later, they're done.
now, obviously, you know, Hell Yep was, you know, a COVID album. That was only 4 songs. This one being 6 songs. We're not in a pandemic. There's no like big time gap to kind of work on stuff. Did you guys give yourselves like a deadline? Like if we're gonna do this, we have to kind of do it at this schedule. Otherwise, it's pointless to kind of do.
I think we had more of a structured schedule in mind for this one, where we each had a weekend that we were gonna go over to Lou's and bang out the drum, or I guess the drums were done at Willow Studios again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
AKA
Yeah.
Kyle's house.
But
Well, we learned a lot from the last EP because it took forever to get everyone to record their parts, and we also like re-recorded things multiple times because we were just learning. So this time we had all that knowledge and we knew like kind of we went pretty fast, but it was funny that we started recording this one and then we looked exactly 1 year before
Yeah.
was when we recorded Hell Yep.
Yeah.
To the day.
The drums. Yeah.
We managed
To
to
the day.
somehow do the exact day 1 year. But I think when we put out Hell Yep, ever since then we've been pretty like pedal to the metal, like going hard, like maybe too hard.
Did we like? I'm trying to remember how much we like practiced these So I mean, because we clearly practiced them to make some forms. We had to finish. I mean, Guide to Pop Punk. We've been practicing since like February. So we made a form on really hard, but
we kind of crunched.
Yeah.
Well, like you were saying last time.
But that's how we do it. I don't know.
With Hell Yep, there were some songs we had never played together as a full band.
Yeah.
But with this one, we got together, and there was like three or four practices where we just like, we're gonna play the 6 new songs until we get them just right. So I think that helped because we did 6 songs, which was way more work than I thought it would be. Going from 4 to 6, but oh my goodness, like the drum session took us like 8 hours. Or something like that.
That's true.
But,
and I think part of that is because we do like to play as we're recording, like. So I mean, you can like listen to takes and they're just completely different drum parts on certain parts, just because we want to hear what it sounds like. And you know, like ultimately, like I mean, Lou obviously runs all of them like by us, and we make edits and revisions and requests and whatever. But I like the day of, at least I can speak for the drum parts, and I'm assuming true for like guitar solos and bass parts and everything. Like we, you know, we'll do a couple takes of like the like pretty straight up version of the song, and then. This transition here, I had this idea, and we'll record a couple takes of that, and then, I want to try the verse doing this, do a couple takes of that. Like, we'll try a bunch of different things, and then we'll, hear a couple different versions of it and kind of pick what we actually like the most. And sometimes, that has, kind of drastically changed parts of songs. I mean, that changed. We haven't released, what do we call it? Simulation Theory, but it's a song we've played a lot. It's a song we have in 6 that we've played a lot. And there's a groove change, part of the way through, and that was kind of...
We did 2 different versions on drums,
Yeah.
That's kind of the beauty of doing it DIY, is you get to actually produce your album.
Yeah.
Whereas, when you're just going into a studio, I mean, assuming you don't have a crazy budget and can't just rent a studio for a month, you know, when you do that route, you have, an afternoon to do your whatever parts, or maybe a weekend, and you just kind of get what you get. But when we're doing it our way, we're just let's just do it the right, what we actually want to do, which is nice. But it's also a curse, because then you end up taking forever to finish anything.
Even though you have it,
you become a perfectionist, which is So this time we kind of said I'm setting a date to get it mastered. It's this day. It's going to be done by that day.
Yeah.
And we actually did that. And it was nice. Idea. I do listen to the songs now and go that snare drum. But I do that with Hell Yep too. So
totally.
There's no amount of time that's going to make everything perfect. You know?
Absolutely not.
One thing for everyone that has listened to multiple episodes, and like I've said before, I don't know why you would do that. I also don't listen back. That's a whole other story. Anyways, recurring theme is I really like sound bites in songs, and that's the nice thing about, you know, kind of bouncing off what you're saying with DIY musicians, where you're able to add in those little elements to kind of give a little bit more to the song. Like in Blender, you have a little sound clip at the very end saying it'd be wrong when I say it, but it's something along the lines of that all can blend, or should it blend? I can't.
Will it blend?
Will it blend? What's that one from?
That's an old dude. I'm aging myself. It was a YouTube series, from this had to be 2010. It was kind of big. I think the guy was in the Weezer Pork and Beans video.
I think that's true. Yeah.
But it was just a guy who would blend random shit. That's literally all it was. I don't know if you've seen the hydraulic press. It was that kind of same thing, the proto version of that. Because this guy would take iPhone, will it blend? It was just some random old white guy with such a good TV voice, and then he would put the thing in the blender and it would just explode or whatever the hell happened. You had no idea. He would put crazy stuff in there, and then he would always take the lid off and go, "Don't breathe this," because there's like iPhone dust in the air or whatever he blended. It's a great series.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we love the soundbite transitions.
Yeah.
I mean that feels like very much part of the genre though too. Like I mean I think about like all the Dillinger 4 albums and like you cannot listen to his song start or end with a bit, which I fucking love. Like they're great.
Just last night I was listening to a few Linus songs mixed in with a playlist with my girlfriend, and she's kind of picked up a few things here and there. Like at the start of the song, there's just a very, very slight comment. She goes, "Who was that?" Oh, that was Lewis. He just added a little snippet in there. I can't think of which song it was, but
yeah, that's another thing about the DIY. Like you were saying, like you just get to like have a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
Since like there's a lot of times where I'm just recording by myself in my apartment. I'm like, I'm gonna go across the room and just like scream for like this part.
See what happens.
And my neighbors are gonna think I'm losing my mind.
So I wasn't like confused. I think it's at one of the end of one of the songs on this new album, new EP. There's like that scream at the very end. Was that just the scene you're talking about?
Yeah, I honestly don't even remember where it came from.
Was that the beginning of
on the line?
On the line.
There's a scream. I have no idea. I don't remember doing it, but we just had. It was in the original demo, I think.
Yeah.
And then we recorded without, and we didn't have it in there. And Galen was like, "You have to scream back."
He needed to. You can hear on the line. There's just like a little chord in the back when it starts. It's like,
yeah.
But in the demo, it's just the, and then I didn't figure this out till a while. But then there's a very panned version, I think in your right ear, of Lewis saying "whoopsies," but like really slow. So like you can't tell what it is unless you're like locked into it. I've only figured this out recently.
Well, that's actually the reason it's slow is because I actually stretched it out. Because in the original demo, it's like what, and then it starts. But this one, we wanted the intro to be longer. So like in Logic, you can just like press Shift and click it, and it'll drag the audio out.
Oh man!
So it's like.
So I told Lewis, I was like, you gotta throw that scream back in. It was such a good intro.
I think I took it out because I had sent the demo to one of my buddies who's kind of just like one of my songwriter friends, and he was like, "Oh my god, like it was so loud, and there was someone just screaming in my ear right away."
Hell yeah!
I was like, all right, maybe I shouldn't put that in as like the beginning of a song, but we did. So
heard their ears do it.
It's pretty quiet though.
Yeah. You faded.
I also did love the little Easter egg of Hell Yup in the EP. I think it's at the end of the third song, where it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and I was like, wait a minute.
Like what is it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It was like two splice things. What was the from?
That was me. It was just me going, yep.
But what was the oh hell?
It's like
Is it Eddie Murphy or something?
There's like YouTube video that's just like oh hell no,
Yeah.
and it's like NCIS or something. It's just some crap. Yeah.
Oh hell!
Yep.
We have that, and we have the Storage Wars soundbite of the "What's your profanity?"
You're right, I'm sorry.
I think people miss that, and then us just goofing off. Like in all of effing it up, there's so many sound bits that the audience has no idea that they're actually listening to. Like the day we recorded the gang vocals on that, we were losing our collective minds.
On effing it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's so much random shit. Like we just started yelling "the French" like during the verse.
Yeah.
That made it in, and then you can hear after the I'm fucking it up. You can hear a and it's Kyle like
trying to find the notes.
I remember like mixing it, and I was like, I have to leave that in. It's just like it's just so weird.
so many good things.
a lot of that stuff has made it into the live performances too.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
The fridge.
And a lot of I always like to tell Jeff to go up on stage and go, "This is Jeff Wallner from Linus. Thank you for coming to our show." I love the sound bites, and I love that people always reach out and ask like what they're from. Like I just had Parker from Tightwire and Dingus reach out, and he was like, "What is Watch Your Profanity?" like, what is that from something, or is that, who is that saying? And I got to send him the clip of it, and
So
I
good.
was like, dude, he's like, oh my god, it's the best thing.
There is, I don't want to spoil it, but there is one more sound clip in the upcoming EP. We're not going to talk about it too much, but I just want to say that one is also amazing. And I mean, that show alone provides so many sound clips.
Yeah.
But it was a great choice, and it's I love it because it's in a spot where it just fits so well, and then kind of goes right back into the song.
Dude.
Like,
That's so serious outside of that.
yeah.
We had such a hard time, like, when Kyle was over doing guitars, I had, like, that whole episode as, like, a WAV file, and we were messing around with different things to put in there, and some of the shit that fit perfectly in that, like it would, the speech would end right as the instrument, or the vocals came in for the verse. There was some shit in there that I wish we could have kept, but it was, like, so profane. If you know the sketch. I was like really close to leaving some of the horrible shit in there. But then we just kept it chill.
Well, that was the thing too. Is so I knew exactly what it was from, and I was trying to picture like the exact scene, and I couldn't figure it out. So I searched it up, and I was like, oh, that's why I don't remember. Couldn't pinpoint it because there's so much worse that's not here to go with it.
Yes.
That's what's kind of funny about it. It's just like very innocent.
So deep cut, yeah.
It sounds like, if you ever see people on TikTok that are like, they just put like the Midwest emo intro over like random things. It's kind of like that. It's like out of context, it just sounds like serious, but then in context, it's like so absurd.
Unreal. It's so good. Yeah, if you like, hopefully, listener in the past, you went to our Halloween show this year, because that might give you a clue into what this sound clip is from.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've had.
You mean Pop Punk Halloween
Pop
Volume 2? I think you should scream.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've had to
Exactly.
audible a little bit with the profanity in our songs, like effing
man.
it up. When we went up and played at the Duluth Punk Rock Flea Market this last summer, we noticed like right as we were starting the song, there were a couple like 10-year-old kids in the front row, and so that was the first rendition of "Frickin' It Up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Farting it up.
I went all right.
Yeah, so I played that last year too, but like everyone had COVID. So it was just me, and then Parker and Sam from Dingus played with me as Linus. Lingus. And we did effing it up, and I was like, I don't think, like, people putting it on were like, you don't have to censor yourself, like, it's all ages, but whatever, like, it's punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, and then we get up there, and like there's like 4 or 5 like young children dancing around, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do the song that says the F word like 20 times in it. And I did farting it up, friggin' it up, freaking it up, like everything I could think of. And I remember turning back to those guys and said, don't say it, we're gonna do farting it up. And Sam was like, okay, got it. Like, no problem.
Remember one time we were on tour in Georgia. We ended up playing like this record store, and it was called His Rock, and we were like 18, 19, 20 was everyone in our group, and we pull up and we're like, oh, it's called His Rock, like that's kind of weird, whatever. And at the time, the band that I was with, they were covering Fat Lip by Sum 41. And there's the one line where it's the doctor said my mom should have had an abortion.
Right.
And it was like right before they went on, they were like, someone realized, oh, this is like a religious owned record store
Capital
somehow.
His Rock.
So like
So
I remember he had it, like they had to change that one lyric like real quick before the set. Like I can't remember what they came up
Daddy
with.
said my mom should have had a filling.
Had a baptism.
Had a baptism.
I would have fun with that. I mean,
Oh my God.
the times we've had to censor ourselves.
S'more.
Kirk Cousins edition.
Oh my God.
That would be, if we ever put out a censored version, we'll just call it the Kirk Cousins edition. That's pretty
Oh
good.
my God. That's funny.
But I mean, we've kind of talked about On the Line. We talked about Blender. Kind of hinted towards the new album, which will be out in 2024. And keep an eye out on socials for more details on that. We'll have links at the very end. Is there anything that I might have missed between Linus, new singles, new EP that you want the people to know about at this time?
What do you got going on, Kaylyn?
Whatever the hell we got going
Any
on.
more tap dancing shows?
No, I'm not that I'll be performing in things. I'm helping run a bit. Just go support the tap scene in general. Go see a show from the tap dance scene in Minneapolis.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of fun. These guys have come.
You got one coming up, right?
Yeah, Kaylyn Miller Dance. We'll be doing one. KMD2, which is our junior program. Something I help. I guess you could say I kind of do I help with some teaching and some logistic end of stuff. Not performing as much anymore, tap dancing. But there'll be a performance, mostly of work by the students and some other fantastic choreographers, I believe happening in February at the Southern Theater. So check that out.
Yeah, I think the people need to know that Galen was a professional tap dancer.
Yeah. Toured the world.
Toured the
fucking world.
Wow.
Before I did Linus, that was true. It was a wild 8 years of my life. So
8 years.
It's funny because I'll talk to people about you ever hope Linus makes it in tours? And part of me is yeah, that'd be awesome. And another part of me is absolutely fucking no. Yeah. I've gotten my absolute fill of touring. It's if you go see a touring band, just go up and tip them another $20 because it is so much work. I've never I have a full-time job and I love it and it's great and everything, but when I was touring for 8 years and I have all these. I was doing a bunch of freelance graphic design and photography at the time. I was working all the time, and I tell people I've never worked that much and also been so broke at the same time. It just wasn't a feasible way for me. And I, to be honest, I don't actually really like to travel. So I feel like I sort of set myself up weird there. But
Could go wrong.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of experience with that, a lot of sympathy for people touring because it can be, it's a lot, and I think you also can't. It's weird to try to put a cost to what it is on your family and friends to have you gone all the time too, and honestly, part of the reason I wanted to be back and not touring anymore is to be with my family more, be with friends more consistently. So.
8 years is wild.
It was.
I haven't done anything for 8 years.
Yeah,
I guess Linus technically.
And it was pretty much the same show. It changed over time, and I loved it. I loved the people. I honestly I could keep performing that show. Well, not anymore physically, but had I not stopped, I would have gladly kept performing that show. But that's a lifestyle that's really really hard on you. So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that about me for 3 minutes, but to answer that question about touring.
So we talked some Linus, but now we're going to get to the beer segment. Like I normally say on every episode, you don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I will definitely do that for you. But I know you fine boys brought some good old beverages with you today. Mm-hmm. What are you guys drinking on this fine episode?
I think
we are drinking Ham's beer, and I don't know if any of us really love hams or if it's just a meme at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I can tell you we got through a lot of 30s.
I think that's pre-me.
I really do not know, but we are the Hams band.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every shitty dive bar has Hams.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think I like it because you can get a 30 rack for $15.
Yep.
Well, I pay 20 for these though.
Ooh.
Inflation is hitting us hard.
Take out of the band fund.
But I think it's as far as the cheap beers, it's probably my favorite, and it's so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's the beer refreshing.
So I'll usually, if I'm having a drinking night, I'm like, I'll have a couple cocktails that get me going, and then I'll switch to hams to coast. It's great for that, and it's like the best show beer too.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not offensive in any way. It's just hams.
Yeah.
There have been multiple times, more than one, that we have drank the venue out of hams.
Yes.
It's been amazing.
The last time, the most recent time we went to the underground, they assured us they had plenty of hams.
Well, yeah. Okay,
That
so
was-
2 times ago,
Yeah.
they ran out of hams,
Straight up.
and then they started going over Underground Music Cafe. They have the Underground Music venue attached to it, same place, but that's like the big venue. And they ended up going over there and getting like 2 cases of like room temperature hams just to like give us more hams. And then when we showed up last time we played there, I said, last time you guys ran out of hams. And my goal is to do that again tonight. And then the sound guy said to the bartender, like, we get more hams right now. Like, these guys will not run out of hams. And we drank them out of hams.
Challenge.
Hell yeah.
I think I was like,
It
okay.
was impressive.
I was like, you want hams? You want hams? I think we had 4 hams. If I remember correctly. I don't know. I had too many hams. But the
Ham-fisted,
bartender, like, pulled up with hams for all of us. I think it was me, Kyle, and Jeff. I think Kaylyn was.
I think I was talking to someone.
So
who
he pulled up
remembered
with 3 hams for us 3, and he said, these are the last hams we have.
Because I didn't believe you. I thought you guys were bullshitting when you were
No.
making the video about running out of hams.
It was a magical moment in
Yeah.
Linus history that we all got to share that together. Except Galen. But Galen,
Love you guys
It
too.
was 2
I
in a
think
row.
Galen did at least 3 hams that night. So
Oh, yeah,
he
I
did
was-
contribute to the moment.
I ham fisted.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's just so easy to drink.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because a lot of times you drink like a cheap beer and it's like actively bad.
Yeah.
Hams, not that way. PBR, not that way to me.
I gotta know too. Is the hams thing? Was that true before I joined? Like, did you guys do that prior?
I
Or when
really
did that
don't know.
happen?
Like I was saying, there's 2 different Linuses in
Dude,
my mind.
yeah.
It's hard for me.
We're the
I really
post ham
don't.
Linus, or no, during ham Linus.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Stefan if we were a Hams band when he was in it, because I do not remember.
Stefan wasn't really a big drinker from what I
I
recall.
was gonna say I don't see him being a hams.
He's the
person.
kind of guy that would be like, I really like this one craft beer, and then he would drink one of them.
Kind of get it.
I was like 99% sure you guys were gonna bring hams today. By the way,
Good.
God damn
it was either
right.
it was either I don't know if it was there was like a scene in the spooky season video or if there was something that I saw when I was like scrolling through the Instagram. But I swear I saw like a 30 rack of hams in one of those, and I was like,
Oh.
they're
Yeah.
for sure bringing hams.
Actually, we literally in our now new press photos we have hams in the photos. Like
Yeah.
I had to go through and edit them out.
We drink so much hams that it's hard to get a photo of us without hams.
It's true.
And see, normally I'm a PBR guy. Through and through. Like original logos for the podcast are all PBR. I want to do this part might get cut, but I want to do like holiday photos from beers with bands to
Oh,
like send out to
nice.
people of just me with like cases of PBR for no reason.
Hell yeah.
PBR, it's good. I like.
Yeah.
I used to be a
That was-
PBR guy too.
Slaps.
Um,
Tall boys.
that's all. Yeah.
Indeed.
I have friends. I don't know. I don't think they still do it, but at one point, so they live in Missouri. Everything's fucking cheap and outlawed there. It's crazy. But they used to do like an annual like PBR versus hams night, where like everyone that loves hams shows up, everyone that loves PBRs shows up, and then they just kind of just hang out and just drink
Hell
as
yeah.
much as they can to see how many like they actually go through by the end of the night to see who technically wins that night or
Oh
whatever.
my god, it's amazing.
Dang.
So,
Well,
yeah.
if the Linus boys rolled up, you know what would happen.
Yeah, no joke.
We're going to
We
Missouri.
have there's a precedent. There's a precedent there.
How I know that we're starting to get somewhere is at a couple of shows we've played recently, we've had a case of hams backstage for us.
Oh
yes.
That's
yeah.
been
That has been
Yeah,
pretty.
at the
Oh.
Turf Club, there was a case of hams for us. God damn, that's
Like,
VIP status.
They read the writer that we never wrote.
Exactly. Exactly.
I knew.
Yeah, it's definitely a meme in like my personal life too, because every like Christmas, I somehow end up with like 330 racks that people just like random family members would give me, or like hams, like memorabilia. My like home office is covered, like has so much ham stuff in it.
So real.
It's the best.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of hams during ice fishing season because there aren't many beers that go down very smooth at about 8 in the morning.
Oh my lord, dude! They
What
need
a
to make
qualifier.
They need to make a hams coffee, like you know.
Jeez.
You know how some beers do like a coffee.
Oh, the PBR
Yeah,
coffee,
PBR,
baby.
I
Yeah.
used to
ham.
carry that PBR coffee up at Hy-Vee up the road here, and they haven't had it for like months. Have you noticed?
They sell it
I
at
haven't
9
gone to
a.m.
the
every day.
Hy-Vee liquor store yet. I've only
Okay.
lived in this house since like May.
Yep.
But I did, for people, I think I've talked about this. I did try the PBR seltzers.
Oh.
Ooh, not
Oh, no.
not a fan.
Really?
And it was disappointing.
It's hard to screw up
You're
a seltzer, I
yeah,
feel like.
You
Yeah.
like a seltzer though?
Yeah, I can deal with them.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Right on.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Barrel.
And for this episode, drinking a good old. I switched it up for this one. Drinking a good old Modelo. If anyone saw the Twitter, depending on back in October, end of September, I posed the question because I always drink PBRs for every episode. I was like, I should, we're beer. It's beers with bands. I shouldn't probably drink the same beer
Sure.
every episode. This is episode 159. Like that's a lot of PBR that I've gone through doing this. So I posed the question to people saying, what beer or what beverage would you like me to drink? A good friend, Thomas Allen, suggested I drink Modelo's for this episode, so I picked some up for it. Some people told me to drink Rojo Mints. That's not probably going to happen.
Hell yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, but if you have any suggestions for beers that I should be drinking during these episodes, feel free to leave a comment or DM me. But also make it regional, or like don't put regional beers because I live in Minnesota and I can't get beers from Rhode Island, like some people have suggested.
Yeah.
They sound great, but I can't get them. It's difficult.
If you want an alternative to Rumplemints, you could always go get some nice, classy ice hole.
Oh
which I
yeah,
have
that's my shit.
had a lot of.
Ice hole.
Really?
Ice
You drink
hole.
that while you're ice
That
fishing?
shit.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
That usually doesn't come out till about 10 a.m.
Like,
So
what-
Oh,
what?
You got you start your morning with
first,
hams.
Yeah,
that
you're
first
already through
bite.
the 30 rack.
Honestly, it tastes pretty good if you put it in your coffee a little bit too, though.
Mm.
Oh my!
So
I was gonna describe it as
What
like
is it?
the first bite of Trident gum.
It's minty
Yes.
and it's beer.
it's
No, it's a liquor.
A liqueur.
Okay. Well, I thought we were on beers with bands.
Ah, I'm sorry.
Not
He said
liqueur.
Rumplemints. He turned
Okay,
it.
okay.
Someone suggested it. There was a couple other ones that I don't
Liquors
remember.
with blands.
But yeah.
Liquors with Linus.
Liquors
ooh,
with
there we go.
Lions.
Liqueurs.
That's episode 2, baby.
Yeah. When you guys
Or
come back.
episode 297 when you bring us back.
Yeah,
God, if we do liquor with Linus, I'm gonna do Uber.
Yeah. 8 hour new gout regiment.
Yeah, I'm gonna get gout flare up from that
A
one.
repeat of Matt's party.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
But that's the little beer segment for this episode. But before we get to stories, we did have a few fan questions that people sent in, and I think they're like I was kind of hinting at. They're not ridiculous questions. There's some pretty good ones.
Okay.
Since you guys did mention My Kid Banana a little bit ago, someone did ask, when are you and My Kid Banana gonna collab already?
Gonna collab? Oh, we legitimately were talking about doing a split.
That's why we made Spooky
Last.
Season.
Spooky Season was supposed to be on a split with My Kid Banana.
Oh,
I feel like we're throwing them under the bus by saying that.
No,
And
I mean
somebody canceled. No, I'm just kidding.
they were like, we're not gonna have it ready in time. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
as someone who does it all DIY now, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, never say never.
Right. It sounds like you guys got plenty of stuff in the wheelhouse. A split could happen down the line
Oh yeah,
sometime.
absolutely.
Definitely.
We'd love to split with them. Absolutely.
And I kind of, when I was learning all the DIY stuff and all the production stuff, I was talking to Eric from My Kid Banana a decent amount because they do it all themselves as well. So we have collabed in some fashion at least.
We just played their EP release show
Mm-hmm.
at Amsterdam. Good dudes. Really good
Blast.
new EP. Definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fantastic show. We played with them. Rad Owl, who we
Red Owl, Fox.
hadn't heard before. They were amazing. That was awesome. And then
I think it was Lost Leader.
Lost Leader. Yeah. That's like, yeah. Good
Who-
friends of ours. Lost
They're
Leader's
great,
fucking awesome.
but I don't need to see them 6 times a month. Because we've been playing with them so much.
See it yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
I like when we get
Tim
Lost
comes
Leader.
to everything.
even when
I love
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say
Tim
even
comes
when
to
we aren't
everything.
playing with them, they're there. Like,
It's been long enough now that I would love to see them again. But
Yeah.
At the time we saw them,
You've
oh
been,
my god.
You've been with them.
Well,
all
plus
the
I
time.
was playing with them with Bird
Bird
Hole,
Hole,
too.
yeah.
So it's like every week I'm seeing Lost Leader. I like to at least
Those guys
get
are
a right
solid.
here buffer.
Ooh.
Lost
Yeah,
Leader,
yeah.
right here, Lost Leader. That's fine.
And 3 weeks ago, next week, 3 weeks ago, there's it's like Dingus, and just Tim, and
Oh, at Mortimer's?
yeah, 3 weeks ago Friday.
Oh,
Anyway, I digress.
You're
Hopefully I
talking
get to
my
that one.
kid.
oh yeah.
Well,
That's the.
Oh.
Is that on the 12th?
It was on the
It
12th.
was on the 12th of
It was on
October.
the
Yeah.
12th
I,
of
I'm
October.
going out of town. I can't make it.
You went out of town. You can't.
I
make
went
it?
out of town and I made it.
We can already say that it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
Panty dropper.
It's okay.
Another-
If it gets canceled because of COVID, this episode's gonna feel so
Retcon.
I wish I could
God damn.
promote some local shows, but I only know one's in October.
Right.
And they were sold out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all bangers.
Sure, out the door.
Hell yeah.
One other question that someone sent in is, what is your favorite thing the audience does?
I
can't say. Seriously.
honestly think just like interact at all. Like
Yeah.
for me,
Show
I don't know.
up.
Yeah.
Be there.
Come,
Exist.
hang out. Just like look enthusiastic. Like there's nothing worse than when you're like, you know, because when you're playing, we can just see you for the most part. If there's someone that's just standing looking at their phone the entire time, I'm like, you know what? I get it. And also, like it feels like you're actively disinterested in what we're doing. So
Yeah, I would
if
say
people do anything, it feels great.
at this point, I truly do not care as long as you show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have been very fortunate in the last year, I would say, that we've had some, like, people that are coming to a lot of our shows now. So we can pretty reliably have, like, somewhat of a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been really fun. Just knowing, like, every time you show up to a Linus show, there's going to be, like, a little community of people that are there.
Yeah.
I think that makes it so fun, because then I also know, like, when I go to other bands' shows, or we play with other bands, like, I know that, like, their crew is going to be there, and you start to, like, have these community moments that are, like, what kind of makes playing in the local scene fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just show up. I mean, support the scene, because it's actually, like, you get what you put into it back.
Yeah.
For sure.
To bounce off of that point, you guys played the first Palmer's patio show this year, right?
Yeah.
In 2020.
So, yeah.
With Supportive Parents, and I think Lost Leader played that one. I can't remember
Yeah.
for sure.
And Havana Sleeve? Is that
Sleeve,
same
yeah.
show?
No,
Yeah.
that was
the second
that
one?
was the second one.
Okay. I was wrong.
But I mean, that was my first time seeing Linus in person. Obviously, I'd seen you guys' name on a bunch of flyers. Obviously, we have mutual friends in Tim, and you know a lot of the shows that he's playing, you guys are playing on. But
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is obviously it's the first patio show of the season. I was for sure gonna go anyways. My boys and Supportive Parents are playing, and I'm like, but Linus is on this. It's my first time getting to see this band. I have not seen them before. And for people that have not gone out to see Linus before, please do, because you guys put on a killer set. Like, and you guys have been playing very actively over the summer, and hopefully, you know, like we were kind of mentioning, October is all the dates that you kind of know of, but hopefully that does not slow down going into this winter season.
I think
We have stuff.
November and December, right?
Okay, let me think of the future. We definitely have a November show.
I think there may be at this point in recording some things that we're talking about that haven't been confirmed yet, but
Okay, December. We know we're playing December 20th at Underground Music Cafe with My Kid Banana. That's our Christmas show. That's going to be an absolute blast.
Underground Music Cafe, if you're watching this, make sure the hams is on deck, bro.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah. I mean, that's going to be Christmas time. I'm going to be drinking double.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
It's happening.
Like, 'tis the season.
Oh yeah, get some 24 ounce.
Oh my god.
You can get
Doubles.
the thick daddy hams.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you call those a tall. Like, what's a PBR tall boy? Is it 24 ounce
No,
or
those
is it
are
20?
16.
16. Dude, those 24 ounce hams are
Those are
insane.
the Santa Claus.
They're called
They it's heavy.
Like hurts a little bit. We're doing
Double.
Tuesday, November 21st at White Squirrel Bar as a part of
Oh,
Unattractive Giant Monsters residency at White Squirrel. Who,
Okay.
also, just go see their residency. Unattractive Giant Monsters,
they're
fucking
awesome. Especially if you like, I think, Chileen.
hilarious, really good dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good dudes.
There is a rumor that I will be performing, and that was the night the Skeletons came to life
Oh, really?
with Unattractive Giant Monster.
That's amazing. I hope.
I've never missed.
Does this happen? Does this come out after that? I hope.
No, well, I guess I don't know for sure, but
Ooh.
I know. I just got a little hot too. Damn.
well, they did that. I went to see them
Bird.
with Surly Girly
Yeah.
at Palmer's, and the singer from Surly Girly came on stage and they started singing that song. And if you've seen it, Unattractive Giant Monster, their lead singer can do like the perfect impersonation of the other guy in that skit, who's like the straight like country singer.
I'll pull out my gun.
And then Surly Girly singer comes in, and that was the night that the Skeletons came to life. And it killed me. I said, I want to do that. And when they asked us to do the residency, I said, I'll do it under one condition.
Oh my god.
Oh yes. And then we don't have a date or anything yet, but we will be doing, I guess this partially this is manifesting, but we have been in talks, so it's somewhat real. We will be doing a release show at 7th Street Entry this
Hell yeah.
spring. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Heard it here first.
I don't have a date yet,
I
but
heard it here first too.
it is happening.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll be sure to try and make it out to that show. White Squirrel is one of those venues where I've also, I know, side note, not me getting it confused that you're having it at White Squirrel. But it's one of those spots where, like, I think I went there on, like, a date once, and finding out that, like, bands play there, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, and I still have not made my way over to there to check out a show.
It's a great venue.
So one of these days I'm going to. I was going to go there in like 2021, 2022. But it was also the same day as like a massive snowstorm that we had.
Oh.
So I was like,
That place,
I'm not making it.
that place rules in the fall because they have a really sick patio.
Yeah.
So it's like a little tiny bar, like you know.
It's tight.
So then, like, you'll watch a set and then you go out of the patio. Oh my god!
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
last October 28th,
Magical.
when we played there for Pop Punk Halloween, it was great because we could go on the patio.
Yeah.
But actually, we did Pop Punk Halloween
So
in
hot.
2022,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so hot in there.
But a lot of fun.
It was
It's
so
one of
fun.
That was
That's like a top 5 show.
But then I remember
It was
going
so
out
much fun.
after to the patio, and I was like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever." And I was sitting there in like my night,
Yeah,
Halloween costume,
Jesus,
just like,
fake chainmail.
yeah,
God, that's so good.
yeah. I love that place. That's one of my favorites.
We're
I love
really-
all the venues that are just like
magical.
super low key, like
Yeah.
no pressure. Sometimes you play a venue and like the booking people, and like this is what they are supposed to do. So don't hear what I'm not saying, but they'll send you an email like all the like, we want you to promote on social media like this amount of times. We expect this many heads, blah blah blah. And then you play at the White Squirrel. It's like, I don't know, just show up and like just make sure you don't play past this time.
And it's always good energy there.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
great.
It's always
Fucking
full.
magical.
Sounds
It's-
great.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Love it.
Really good time.
Oh,
Excited to
what's
play there again or rather, excited to have played there again.
Yes.
This
And
year
excited
I'm-
to play there again on November 21st.
Yes,
yeah.
damn straight.
I do gotta say, like, I kind of love that you guys are like so full force and going into like this whole like time thing. Like you're the only band that's ever like made sure to like push that. It's normally me doing it, and the other like who I'm talking to is just like, what the fuck's this? But I love that.
Keep it in.
Yeah. Oh no.
Let them know.
That's staying.
Tongue in cheek about it.
But so those are some fan questions. Thank you to everyone that sent those. You know, we have been recording for a while, but before I let you guys go, this is. We got to at least talk about my favorite segment. We got to do at least my favorite segment of these episodes. And I know that there's some in the wheelhouse. This is where we kind of talk about some stories from you guys' time in music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording, all that fun stuff. Obviously, you guys did a music video, so I'm sure there was some shenanigans there. But I think there's already one that we kind of started to get at, and I did cut you off and made you hold it.
The cursed show.
The cursed show.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, when you say the cursed show, it's like, which one?
Our
whole summer.
We opened
We
up
had a
the
couple- we had a
cursed
string.
genie bottle,
Yeah,
and
something
then it just
happened.
proliferated into the next like month of shows.
Like what? I think I'm gonna blame Jeff. 'Cause, like, what did you do? Because like karma was not on our side.
Oh my god.
Something
You
happened.
on
Must have
him.
been Jeff.
I mean, I don't remember doing anything, and Kaylyn never does anything wrong.
Okay,
So-
when was
Fooled
the
you.
first show? What month was that?
That must have been in July or early August.
Okay.
So we played Eagles 34. It must have been early August. Because I think that was the start of our string of curse shows. Because remember we played Mankato right after and something else went wrong.
Yeah. And
Was
then
that-
underground music
Wasn't that all late July?
after
I
that?
think it was mid-July.
Okay, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That part's not important. You can tell the story, Kyle.
Oh. So,
Well,
Jeff,
go ahead. No, you tell it. I'm just gonna see if I can pull up this list that Linus whipped up, or that my brother. Whipped
Oh,
up
that's
about
right.
Oh my
Oh
god.
God, it was with I think it was Couch Potato Massacre
Yeah. Yep.
and
Atomic Lights?
Atomic
Yes.
Lights, and that other band,
Suburban Muscle.
Suburban Muscle. Yeah.
I can't believe I pulled that
Yeah,
out.
how did I couldn't remember that
I'm
one because that's
terrible
only,
at remembering names.
Steel
they
Trap.
They were great, though.
and they hadn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was
That
like
was-
their comeback show.
They were great. I remember it was a lot of fun.
And then we played.
Last.
We played last. I think all the Suburban Muscle fans kind of like made their way outside before we played.
Yeah.
And then,
And we all took a
So that
shot
was maybe
together.
oh, that's right.
I think maybe that's what
Maybe
it
that's
started.
what you
That was the
got.
Oh,
genius.
This was
yeah.
the first.
Was it a
of the
Yag
first.
Bomb?
No,
that was a whiskey shot.
I think it was Jameson.
I think if it had been Yag Bomb, none of this would have happened.
You might be right.
Alter the fabric.
we
So
we
we
had
were,
Meistermania.
we were for whatever reason, there was enough room on stage, but we decided to play on the floor, right?
Well,
That's what everyone else had done.
Right. From what I recall, was that when you were getting a little bit of electrocution from the mic, or is
No,
that,
that was
the Mankato?
that was
That was Duluth.
Okay.
well, at Eagles, there's always a 50% chance that the mic's gonna shock you.
We had one mic that didn't work. They swapped it out.
Mm-hmm.
Then the mic cable came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you broke a string.
I
Grabbed
went
another
on.
guitar.
Remember, I went on stage right away and I said,
The first song.
"We're gonna
Before
break
we
a
started.
string." Yeah. What did I say? Something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I said, "My goal tonight is to break a string,"
And it immediately happened.
and it happened on the first song.
And it was
both
like-
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
Both
was
of
the
you.
first song? Both of us went a string.
So you guys just ended up grabbing other guys' guitars.
Well,
right?
Lewis had brought his back up,
Yeah.
anticipating the
And
string.
mine was sitting at home, still with a broken string, waiting for me to re-string as the backup. And Popeye, bless his soul, gave me his.
He's not dead, by the way.
Well, this is in November. God, I just said that.
No, every show's gonna be cursed.
You Kyle, you really fucked up. You really fucked us up, dude.
Alright, delete the whole. We're starting over. Start from the beginning.
So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
So Popeye, who's still with us,
He's still with
and we
us.
love dearly.
Yeah, my blessed November King and October King. Whipped out his Les Paul
Just whipped it out.
along with and it's like, hell yeah, I got you, bruv. And so I'm, oh man. And switched, using his Les Paul. I think literally either the next song or the song after, I break a string on his
Yes.
Les Paul.
Yeah.
It's all those
And I'm just
boomer
like-
bands,
I'm
dude.
just-
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
bent the string
Yeah.
off the neck.
Yeah. And I just like stare at him, like crying, playing 5 strings, and then
Then
after
you got
that,
you another one.
yeah,
right?
he got me an SG. I think it was his backup guitar, and then like I had like my wireless fucking whatever shit like was not outputting
Yes.
sound.
Yes.
And so I'm just like playing there,
Oh yeah.
sounding my best, no sound.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think we started
Best
playing.
you've ever
We
played.
started playing a song. I was like,
yeah,
something ain't right.
yeah, and then it was
We finished the whole song without your guitar.
hell yeah, best ever. And then I switched it back to his 5-string Les Paul and played the rest of the show with his 5-string Les Paul.
What else happened on that show, Jeff?
I couldn't find the list, but I do remember that I
know what the
mangled
list is.
I mangled a 1/4-inch cable somehow. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
like
ended up
literally-
pulling out of my guitar, and it was like
Yeah.
that.
You like stepped on it or something, and it like kinked all the way at the input.
Yeah.
This happens to us all the time, but there's so many times where we play fucking it up, and so many things go wrong. Not even like us playing it, like we play fine, but just so during that night we started fucking it up, and Lewis's microphone just decided to, like the clip that it was attached to, just decided to jump off of the stand.
Yeah.
Like somehow it had
well, I have been having
unrotated-
issues all night.
Yeah.
So it's like a boom mic stand at the very top of it, like the clip that holds the mic, it screws into the top thread, and it was loose, and I kept having to like, unless you unplug the mic, you can't really like get it in there.
Yeah.
So I was just taking the little like nut below it and like tightening it up and up and up and up. So it was just getting higher and higher. And then we started playing F and up, or just pops off the
jumped.
top.
So then Tim from Lost Leader,
Yeah.
again, fucking love him.
Was
He-
Tim and it was like Eric.
Yeah.
Like, a couple people
couple
just
people.
like all started trying to fix the mic for me.
And then they just, instead of like giving you guys the mic, they just held the mic stand up towards the audience, who just yelled the chorus, which was actually
Yeah.
awesome.
It
It
was
was, it was an epic like
so good.
like community moment. I felt
Yeah,
like where
it was-
we didn't sing any of the
Mhm.
bits. I did find the list.
Okay, what was it?
It said one drum throne that wouldn't lift, which I forgot
Oh,
about.
yeah.
I was using that one guy's throne, and I could
That
not
was
get
so
to
that
get
was
higher.
the,
So I
that was the
below.
first thing.
I was under
Yeah.
my snare, which I didn't like to be. And then right away in the first song, my ride cymbal just fell into my floor tom, and I was trying to push it, so someone ran up and fixed that. Actually, I think it was the drummer from Atomic Lights. It was great. 3 guitar strings broken, 1 mic that fell off, 1 drunk dancing lady. I forgot about her.
Yeah. And she was yelling at people for not moving enough.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like a middle-aged woman like screaming at people.
It was intense.
Totally.
1 split hams.
And
which
that
I
wasn't
don't
our
know what
first
that means.
experience.
Oh yeah, we
with
did
it.
spill hams.
Oh, spilt hams. It auto-corrected the split. And then 1 broken 1/4-inch cable.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's-
And Tambourine Lady was there too.
I think it was the shot.
That was the start of a string of cursed shows, because after that was, I think, Under Remedies at Cafe, and my amp stopped working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
then
last
your- and
song.
your nose.
And my nose started bleeding.
Oh my god, yeah, you had a huge
I had like a
nosebleed.
demon possession.
Yeah.
Well, I knew my nose wasn't.
Actively bleeding. It was from a previous nosebleed.
Well,
on
it
your way
was-
there.
You've
that
done so much
day,
cocaine that
there was
day.
like a.
I just
Remember
anticipated.
driving to the venue that day? It was raining so hard.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I knew
shit,
that it was.
yeah, dude.
I knew it was going to destroy my allergies.
It's a crazy
And I got a
hailstorm.
nosebleed in the car, and then we went on stage to play, and it just like reactivated it. And I saw like 3 people in the crowd like start to run for napkins, and I was like, "What happened? Did I spill my beer?"
They're like, oh,
And I
did we-
couldn't feel anything. I thought it was just like sweating. And they're like, "Your nose is bleeding." I was like, "Oh god damn
Because
it!"
all the hams.
So then I played effing it up with a Kleenex shoved up my
Nose
nose.
tampon.
Yeah.
We finish up.
And my guitar
The
shop.
bartender comes over. Hey guys, great show, and he starts wiping off the
Yeah, he's gotta get
microphone.
Oh my
The
God,
wet
yeah.
one.
He's like holding it away from him, and he's looking away at us like, "Yeah, you guys did a really good job."
And he's like, that's not the first nosebleed I've seen at a concert.
Mm.
Back in the day when we used to, I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, that's why it's happening.
Yeah.
Not
So real.
I'm like, I'm not cool. I just have allergies. And then after that was the Mankato show.
Yep.
And first of all, our monitor speakers didn't work until the last song.
There was also like 2 people there,
Well, that was
which
like
we were
two people
very
there.
excited to play there. It's a cool venue.
It was fine, but
But, like,
something
we were
else happened that
excited
was
to play
cursed. I can't quite remember.
Oh, there was like a bunch of drum issues, and then I ended up giving the drummer
Yeah.
my kick pedal, which ever since then, my kick pedal, the nut on top, keeps flying off, which never happened prior to that. And I'm like, this dude's broken his kick pedal, and then he broke my
came for
fucking
yours.
dad's kick pedal.
He came for
Well,
yours.
the funny part is he didn't want to share a kit anyways.
Yeah, that's very true.
kind of had Kaylyn hype
Well, it
his
was-
kit down. And,
He broke his kick pedal, and I did not speak out. That's what
Yep.
that was.
Yeah, you're a better man.
Yeah.
You're a man
Yeah,
of
it was-
virtue.
No.
Kaylyn.
That was the annoying thing about that show is we were playing in Mankato and no one wanted to share a drum kit. So
I
we
would've-
all had to bring drum kits, which
All
means we had to
3.
bring multiple cars.
And we are always fine sharing a drum kit. Like I like
Oh,
having
yeah.
my kit, but I do
Right.
not care about playing someone else's kit. That's totally fine to me. But
So
they
there
did
was
not want anyone else to play theirs,
three bands, 3 drum kits.
which is a huge
All
hassle.
of which were not from Mankato, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird show. We had really good pizza
Everyone
that
nice.
night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
pizza
did.
slap, dude.
Mankato, shout out.
We drank that
Yeah.
fat tire
That
really
might have
quick.
been what lifted the curse. Although I think
Well,
Duluth was after
Duluth was
that.
the next day. Yeah.
Which, it was like 100 degrees outside, and the mic kept shocking me
So hard.
so bad.
Yeah.
And then I think I was like sweating, and it made it like worse.
Yeah.
Must have
Dude, it
been
would
that, huh?
hurt really bad. And then
Otherwise, that was a pretty solid show. But then
He
that
was-
That was fun.
that
I
night
was-
then.
I was like almost passing out as we were packing up.
Seriously.
I was like,
Dude, yeah.
dude, I
Like
felt
that.
like so. I thought I had like some mild heat stroke because it was so hot,
Yeah.
and I was like singing and playing as hard as I could.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was like, this
Right,
mic
it was
is
like
gonna murder me.
1
It keeps
o'clock.
shocking me. And then I felt better knowing, because I was like, Kaylyn, can you say something? I need to get a drink of water so bad. And you were like, I was like,
Oh
okay,
my
we're
God.
all suffering together. It's
Yeah.
not just me.
I know it's bad.
However, after our set, we popped into Ursa Minor next door,
Mm.
which the cold air was blowing so cold.
Oh, it's
Oh.
so good.
I
It was
was
healing.
I was
Literally
chatting
saved
with an old
our
buddy, and
lives.
my girlfriend was like, Jeff, you got boogers coming out of your nose, dude. 'Cause it was
Oh
just
my
so
God.
cold in there.
Oh my
We're,
goodness.
we're also like or maybe I should say I'm very critical. Like whenever we're at a gig and a band like doesn't stick around for the other bands, I was like, it's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
shitty thing to do. You know what I mean? We got done with our Duluth set. We went to Ursa Minor. I absolutely missed
Missed the
95% of the next
Dude,
band's set.
yeah.
I was kind of mad at the first band for missing ours, and I was like, I immediately understand why.
I went back
it was
outside.
unbearable outside.
I was like, let's go see the other bands. I stepped outside, and it was just like,
It was hard.
and I was like, never mind, let's go.
You needed an hour
Physically can't.
in the
Yeah.
AC to
No,
like
that's when you show
recover.
up like smelling of cigarette smoke and just like, man, that was a sick set. Like, you guys put on a great time. You guys got a cable I can borrow, or
Yeah.
Dude.
I did feel really bad. That last band that played, I really wanted to see them. But it's just like, sometimes nature tells you you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
That-
physically difficult.
I don't know if you guys even know this part of it, but we got out of Ursa Minor. I was rubbing my eye because I had sunscreen and sweat getting my
God,
eyes.
yeah.
And I kept rubbing my eye, and then all of a sudden it was really hurting me.
Mm.
Really bad. And so we went to the Airbnb, and I could not, like, open my eye. It was stinging. And I went and took a full-on shower, like, rinsed out my eye. Still
That's
hurt
where
so
you
bad.
guys went. Okay.
It was like severe pain, and I was like, "Am I gonna have to go to urgent care?"
Well, I missed
And then
this.
we had to play another show that
Yeah, Lewis
me
and I were
Kaylyn
sitting
did.
in.
And I was like, I don't know if I can play it. Like, I was seriously, my eye was on fire. I don't know what the hell happened. And then Vanessa was like, my fiance was like, you have to put a warm compress on your eye. And so she like took a warm washcloth and put it on my eyes. I did that for like 10 minutes, and then I was much better.
Wow.
Did it.
But oh my gosh, it was like hell for
Dude.
like an hour. I couldn't like open my eye for like an hour.
God bless.
So it was very cursed. It was cursed. And then when we got to Duluth, right when I parked, some random local in like some piece of shit truck pulled up and he's like, "Have you noticed they don't water the trees on this street?" And I was like, "What?" And I looked at the trees and they were all dead, to be clear. And I was like, "Yeah, it looks like they don't." And he's like,
just noticed.
"You should go to tell the mayor because their $100,000 a year secretary ain't doing shit, blah blah blah, and you can go to the website and you can fill out a form." And I was like holding my guitar like, oh. It was weird, dude.
That night after we played that gig, so Lewis and I sat in for Portside Dive at Duluth Cider, and that went pretty well. Lewis had to hold one note on the last song for 15 minutes. That was killing his wrist. But at the end of the night, Kyle was so sweet that he unloaded my drums to my car, which was like 2 blocks away, while I was sitting in my car talking to my wife on the phone. And then I was like, "All right, honey, well, I love you." And then then as he brought up the last drum, I started my car and drove the fuck away to drive to the venue to pick up my drum set.
You brought the
After
guitar
he
down the
was
drive?
walking my whole drum set for me over.
That's awesome.
That's so sweet.
And
I saw him as I pulled away, and he was like, "No."
and then what did you and Kyle do?
Oh, we had a cursed Taco Bell experience, kind of.
Oh, it was blessed for me.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna run upstairs real quick. Just keep going.
yeah. We went to that Taco Bell, but there was this van pulled up behind me while we were in the line, and there, it was like a Saturday night, so like there's a line at Taco Bell, right? And the van was there for like 2 minutes, and then just angrily pulled the fastest reverse into drive into Speedway I've ever seen. We were like, "What the fuck?" And then like as we were about to pick up our meal, there's like the car in front of us is at the window picking up stuff, right? The van comes careening around the corner again, and he like pulls up next to that car, and the dude, he kind of looked like Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows, but he gets out of the van and he's like yelling at the window. And there are all these things happening. Eventually, we figure out he's picking up an order for like DoorDash or something, but the car that's in front of us is like getting his food and then passing it through their passenger window to him, and he's just booking it away. He was so angry. It was really intense. And then when we walked in the house, Kyle took the huge bag of Taco Bell for 6 people and dropped it onto the glass table.
I was legitimately terrified. Yeah, there was like a glass coffee table, and dude, this bag had to be like 10 pounds.
It was heavy.
And Kyle just like put it up here and dropped it right on the glass table, and he was like, and I was like, dude.
It was that sound mixed with the sound that Maggie from The Simpsons makes. Like it had that
My
weird,
Airbnb,
to it.
my Airbnb account is in danger because last time I stayed in Stillwater, I spilled red wine all over the carpet on the first night, and it was just
New white carpet.
I was like, it'll be fine. I was completely shit faced, and then I like tried to like clean it all up, and then the next day I go in the living room and there's just like a gray like stain.
No.
Oh shit. And then I had to like email the person like, "We ruined your carpet."
The people that own that are listening to this podcast right now. They're like, "That son of a bitch! He didn't tell us it was wine."
Tell you what, my dad was a carpet cleaner for many years, and
checks out.
he
Carpet time
could get
with-
red wine out of carpet. He could do it,
Okay.
but only if nobody's tried using some crazy household cleaner on it beforehand.
We didn't do that, but we just dabbed it out.
Hey, that's what he would recommend.
What's the trick? A couple dabs.
Replace the carpet.
It's
There you go.
It's not
Works every
family
time.
friendly.
Yeah, just
Is
leave
that
for the
family?
weekend. I'll take care of this.
It's not family friendly, Galen.
Oh,
Well, that was actually
Ooh, I know. Meow.
not an exciting
It's
story,
a
but
Christian podcast, actually.
the Airbnb host was like, "It was no problem," and then she charged us like $35 to clean it. So I was like, I think if I
Not as
hadn't,
bad as I thought.
I think if I hadn't
What's the
said
problem?
anything, I would have gotten a 1 star and a $200 invoice.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
Well, here's to that Airbnb owner for being decent about it.
Yeah. Well,
Decent.
unlike
May they
that,
rest in
he's
peace.
the only Airbnb owner with a soul.
Mm-hmm.
That'll just be a $750,000 cleaning fee.
Yeah.
It's more than the house, man. I don't know. Carpet's crazy to clean.
Yeah, I don't make the rules, man.
White carpet. What do you want, man?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have spilled it. Obviously, we've heard some like kind of horrific stories from you guys' time.
Jesus Christ, I didn't think they were that bad. I'm just kidding.
But before we end, I usually like to end on like a nice good note. So if you want to go around and kind of say your favorite moment from your time in Linus that you've experienced in your life or time.
I'll go first.
All right.
Not. I don't think I could necessarily say a favorite moment. We've had a lot of good shows with good turnouts and that we felt tight at and had a good time and all this.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were getting ready to record this last EP, we had like Lewis said, we had gotten together and practiced a few weeks ahead of time, made sure that they were all down pat, and there's one of these tunes that I couldn't fucking get right. Like no matter what I did, it didn't sound right, it didn't feel locked in. So I went home and practiced that shit for like probably 6 hours one day. And then went in to record with him, and like probably 4 of the songs had some struggles, like, and then we played On the Line, and we finished, and he pressed stop, and Lewis goes, "See, Jeff, that's what happens when you practice."
Well, to be fair, that wasn't unprompted. You were like, I've been practicing this one for hours and hours, and then you nailed it right away. I was like, see? It wasn't just like, see? That's what happens when you practice.
Okay.
Well, it might have been. I don't know. For sure. But that was your favorite moment? Me just sitting on
It
it?
empowered me.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, oh,
Okay.
yeah, shit, let's put a extra half hour into practice in here going forward and not be a bump on a log on the couch all the time when I'm not working, you know?
Bum along on the
So
couch
thanks,
all the time.
You're welcome.
Changed my life.
For me, I think I'd have to say our show at Day Block with Keep Flying
Oh, hell yeah.
was probably my favorite. It just felt really good. I think it was like springtime, so it was like the weather was starting to get nice. It was packed. Like everyone came out.
Yeah.
It was just
Wall to
like
wall.
immaculate vibes. I think it was my first show filming with Bird Hole too.
That's true.
So I played with Bird
You
Hole,
killed it.
and then
Walk away.
another band played. Who was it? Oh god.
We're just going to assume it was Lost Leader.
Probably.
Oh my god.
I mean,
There's
it
a
probably-
not
Oh, it was
insignificant chance.
Clothesline.
It was Clothesline.
Clothesline.
Dude, hell yeah, it was Clothesline.
And then
Fuck
we
yeah.
came up, and I was like, oh no, I just felt like I was in the zone, and everything just went right, and the set like flowed together perfectly, and the energy was off the chain. I remember effing it up that night. Like there were so many people there, and they were just screaming the chorus. It was awesome.
That's one of those songs that when you play live sometimes and you can tell the people in the crowd know the song because you just look at the top of everyone's heads and they're just like this ever so slightly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that was probably mine.
Man, I think it might be last year's Halloween show at.
You mean 2023 or
Yes.
2022?
Yes, our second to last Halloween show at White Squirrel.
Dude.
It was just like, I mean, similar thing. Just like I at least was. I feel like all of us were just like fucking in the perfect zone. Just like fucking perfect energy. I guess it's not hard to pack a White Squirrel, but it was a lot of
And
people
the
there.
moment with Kaja, Galen's wife.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
We played Man, I Feel Like a Woman. My wife came up and sang as Shania Twain.
But the moment was
Anyone
great
dressed
because
as-
she dressed up like Shania Twain.
Yeah.
And she
And,
nailed it.
and we
Yeah.
had practiced,
Yep.
but no one else knew. I
Yeah.
kept it a complete secret.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I went on stage and I was like, I saw someone dressed as Shania Twain. And then we were looking around.
Yeah, get up here.
I was like, why don't you come up here?
Oh,
Let's go, boys.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
yeah.
Now, when you
Lot
say
fun.
no one else knew, you mean like these guys didn't know?
No,
we
we-
all
we-
But
knew.
like the crowd just
Crowd,
didn't
yeah.
know.
But, like,
none of
just
our
the
friends,
fans.
which is weird.
Okay.
Our friends were there and like cautious and they're like, oh, is she dressed as Shania Twain?
Because, like, fucking-
Yeah, that's
like,
She
it was
did.
crazy.
Yeah,
serious.
she was exactly
Yeah, it was
right
like, oh,
from
yeah,
the music
here we go.
video. It was wild.
That's awesome.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, and just like peak fucking
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. I don't know if it's a cop out, but like I guess for me it's like kind of it's just like the support we've had. Like I mean before I joined Linus, I knew Linus. I listened to Linus. I really liked Linus. But it was fun. I remember just right away at my first gig, which was at Palmerston Patio, like September of 2021. That'd be. It was like right away. It was just so much fun. People were into it. We were having a great time, and ever since then, I just feel so much like gratitude for the people that come, the people that like reach out to us and send us messages or stuff, or we've had like new people come to a concert and they won't really know us, and then they'll show up at the next one. Like it's just awesome making those friends and like the community, and it's really cool how much the bands in this scene like go and support each other. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like I think it's just really easy. I don't mean to imply anything here, but I've seen it. I just think it's easy for when people are in a community centered around an art form or a style or something, some creative expression. It's really easy to get cliquey, and it's really easy to get like not inclusive, and you know what I mean. Everyone's like gets a little like almost too serious about it, and I don't mean serious like work hard at it. I mean serious like can't have a good time at it anymore, And it's been a lot of fun being a part of it, and I feel very grateful to share in that and to be present to it. So
Yeah, it was our first show ever with Kaylyn at Palmer's, and I think Dingus was trying to do a promotional video to like
oh
post
my
on social
god,
media.
yeah.
And I was like, I might be able to go, and Galen's like, I'll go. And
like,
Galen
sure.
hadn't even played a show with us yet.
No, yeah.
And then I think I messaged like, yeah, our new drummer is gonna come to the video shoot.
It's like a Reservoir Dogs spoof because they were making all of their like ads for their concerts were like trailers for a movie, but it was like a movie you'd see, like so. This was Reservoir Dogs. They had
That
done.
was your first official Linus business was to go
That was.
be in the
Yeah.
Dingus promo
Yeah.
video.
Exactly. It was a lot of fun.
Pretty funny.
It was really
And
fun.
then that show,
That was a silly ass show.
during the Dingus set, they were like, you gotta come dance. Like, this guy is a professional dancer.
Throw out some ballet.
Yeah.
I did. I was real drunk. I won't lie. I was like kind of wound up for our show, so I like to practice. Like I'm a practice person, so like once we were done and it went well, and did we open or we were second. The Right Here opened and we were
Oh,
second.
yeah, that was my first time playing.
And we got done, and I just had this huge wave of relief. I was like, yes. Because what was so funny is that I was like nervous about the drumming, but I was more nervous about having to sing because I'm not a singer. But that was the first time I was like, well, we need someone to sing this part. We need someone to sing these three parts. And just kind of like, Jeff, you sing it for a second. Okay, now, Kyle, you never sing. Dale, can you sing it all? All right. You're going to sing that part then. I was like, oh, fuck.
Exact words were, I'm not a classically trained singer.
Yeah.
Like, me neither. All right.
Yeah, let's go. But I was so relieved. I immediately slammed like two hands
was-
right after the count.
That was kind kind of an experience because that was the first post-COVID show and the
Yeah.
first
Dude.
Kaylyn show.
It's
We played 3 songs on that set list that have not been released. How
Did
weird
we?
is that?
I don't remember the set list at all.
It started with Spicy Party Mix.
Oh,
So
We
we
also
were-
played Times the
Okay.
Game.
So we were
Oh, yeah.
playing some of the new songs that
Yep.
we wrote in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That I think we planned
Crazy.
on, or thought we were gonna put out. As
Yeah, well, we wanted to.
They may be.
We
at
had
some
an
point.
EP planned that we were
Mhm.
going to record in a studio, and then when we decided to do DIY, we scrapped literally all of those songs.
Yeah.
So there's like a lost EP.
It could,
Out there
we should just
somewhere.
release
Find
as a B-side.
We'll
Yeah,
find it.
like B-sides are just the demos versions of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
We could record a B-side. It'd be fun.
So yeah, we heard some stories. We talked some Linus. I gotta say before we get too far into this outro, like I really want to thank you guys a lot for coming through to be on an episode. I know it was like sometime after you guys played at Palmer's that I saw you guys that I followed and then was like, okay, I need to have these guys on. And I think I reached out. I don't know who runs the Instagram.
Usually me. Yeah.
Okay.
Lewis.
But I was like, I wanna do this, and I know we talked about it a couple different times, and I'm stoked that we finally got to do one of these. This is it's been like a mini bucket list for me to get you guys checked off to have you guys come through. The new EP sounds sick. With name to be determined, but for everyone that's listening, make sure you jam on the line. Be ready for Blender to come out at later time in November, and just run those numbers up because the songs fucking rip. The whole EP rips. I'm stoked for everyone else to finally listen to these songs and the full EP when they're fully released. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Linus in general, where can they find it?
The best spot is probably our Instagram. We post all of our shows and everything there. For music, we're on everything: Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. We are kind of hard to find because our name is Linus. So you may need to search. What I usually tell people is Linus, effing it up, one word, because then you'll find it. For merch, you'll just have to come to a show. We don't have any online shops set up right now.
I don't know.
So I guess you come to a show.
Come to the show anyways.
But Instagram is our main. That's where we are most active. We do have a TikTok as well.
Hell, you know.
So
Some fun stuff on
we're at
the
like 940 followers.
on
I-
TikTok, really?
Well, we were at like 990. I was like, we need 10 more until we can go live. And then as soon as I posted that, we lost like 50.
Oh my god.
So I'm not gonna post that anymore. I think that's the curse.
Yeah,
let it
don't
happen
ask for followers. Let them
organically, huh?
come.
Yeah.
So,
Organic.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, 60 more till we can go live. So.
Yeah.
No,
so-
no. Don't up the stakes. We're gonna lose 200 tonight.
But everyone that's listening, make sure you go follow those links. Whether you found it on, found this episode on, Facebook, Instagram, X,
Pornhub.
Threads, the Pornhub version, or you watched the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight. Make sure you hit the check the description, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials. Be ready for upcoming shows in November. Be ready for the new song Blender to drop. Be ready for that EP to drop in 2024. Be ready for the tap.
Tap show in February.
Tap show in February.
Yep, we'll be there.
Kalina Miller dance.
Yeah,
Come
and every other fun thing that these guys have going on. This is truly a fun time. I'm super stoked that I was able to sit down with you, have a bunch of hams. Obviously, I'm starting to slur. I'm already at like 3
Let's
seconds.
fucking
I
go.
even made sure to eat before you guys showed up,
Oh.
and I'm still starting to feel it.
We have that effect on people.
Whatever that means.
Interpret that
bad.
as you will. Yeah. But this is a fun time. Everyone go check out Linus. Be ready for everything coming up. And other than that, one last big thank you. And I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Thank you for having
And
us.
Jeff, you want to take us out with
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just right at this camera.
Yeah,
right
look
here.
at that camera.
This is Jeff Wallner from Linus. Thank you for checking this podcast.
Good night!
Beers with Bears.